Hey everyone, me Kevin here. I want to give you a really quick update on the infrastructure package, so take a look at this. First, the House just extended government funding through December 3rd and increased the debt limit through December of 2022. But don't get excited yet. This does not mean our budget is actually extended, which if we miss our budget extension, it means that people don't get payments like child tax credits or social security recipients don't get paid. It's bad. And our debt limit, if we miss that and we default on our payment obligations, we get a big bad nick in the reputation of America's creditworthiness, which would also be very, very bad. We've never defaulted on our payments before. But this is not a done deal yet. Just because the House passed it does not mean anything, because we got to get through the Senate and then Joe Biden has to sign it. The House passing it is easy. Joe Biden signing it is easy. The Senate is the hard part. And Moody's is doing a really good job at fear-mongering this, because they wrote this in the Washington Post. The United States could plunge into an immediate recession if Congress fails to raise the debt ceiling and the country defaults on its payment obligations this fall, according to an analysis released Tuesday. This is obviously Moody's, right? So here, Moody's found that a prolonged impasse over the debt ceiling would cost the U.S. economy up to 6 million jobs and wipe out as much as $15 trillion in household wealth, and send the unemployment rate surging to 9% from around 5%. You've got a lot of drama going on right now. This is in addition to the drama that we have around the infrastructure. So just to make this clear, on one hand, we're trying to get the government funded right now and increase the debt limit. Democrats could do this alone in the Senate if they would just use budget reconciliation. They only have one more opportunity to use budget reconciliation. They're refusing to do that because they want to use budget reconciliation on the $3.5 trillion infrastructure package. So this is now leaving the government's funding and the debt limit up in limbo, and everybody's kind of freaking out about it in Congress. Now, we've never defaulted before. We always get this stuff done. We always get the budget done. Sometimes it just gets done late. So we should be able to get through this. But Mitch McConnell and Republicans are promising they're not going to vote to contribute to the 60 votes needed in the Senate to make this happen. So that's kind of where we stand with, unfortunately, the government's budget and the increasing of the debt limit, which, as you heard from Moody's, could be a big issue. Now, Pat Toomey doesn't think it'll be as big of an issue. Pat Toomey thinks that the worst that would happen if we didn't raise the debt ceiling is that some federal vendors won't get paid on time. So really what you're going to have here unfold is this media battle where what you're going to see is Democrats saying, hey, look, we passed the bill in the House. Now you've got Republicans. It's their turn in the Senate to help us vote and pass this. Why don't they want to fund the government? Why do they want to miss our payment obligations? Why are they trying to screw our creditworthiness, right? That's the media campaign that Democrats are going to use to try to pressure Republicans to go for this. Republicans are like, no, it's not that big of a deal. Those things wouldn't be that bad if it happened, especially if it happened short term, not as a prolonged impasse. And ultimately, we want to pressure you to use the budget reconciliation plan, because if you use that option, then the $3.5 trillion infrastructure package is basically dead. So if Democrats pass this with budget reconciliation, $3.5 trillion is probably out the window, which means no changes on the SALT, no changes on capital gains taxes, the corporate income tax rate, the extension of the child tax credit for 5 years, the preschool, free preschool for children 3 and 4, lots of other things, childcare, dependent care, you name it. Like a lot of the things in that social infrastructure plan just wouldn't happen. And so you've got this massive, massive impasse right now in the Senate, and things are about to get real dirty over this next week. At the same time, Joe Biden is kind of freaking out, because Joe Biden is actually so freaking out that he is going to be campaigning with Pelosi and Schumer tomorrow at 2 p.m. They're going to meet to strategize how to get this infrastructure plan rammed through. And Joe Biden is going to be meeting with representatives and congressmen and women over the weekend to figure out how can they negotiate actually getting the $3.5 trillion infrastructure package done, along with the $1 trillion package. That's because Nancy Pelosi promised to vote on the $1 trillion infrastructure package on Monday, but now people like the House Progressives Caucus are saying, no, we're not going to even vote on the $1 trillion package unless you give us the $3.5 trillion package. But the $3.5 trillion package isn't done yet. On top of that, you had House Democrats today, some House progressives, going, we don't want to spend $1 billion on the Israeli Iron Dome. So that was cut from the bill that was supposed to be passed today, which was a normal part of our defense aid that we usually spend for other countries. spend about $47 billion in foreign aid every year. And I mean, I kind of get this because a lot of people are like, hey, let's focus on paying American bills first rather than other bills. The foreign minister in Israel thinks this is just a technical issue because of the debt limit and it'll get passed again in the future. But the point is, you've got a giant disaster happening in Congress right now. You've got the House Progressives Caucus threatening not to vote on this bill, and Nancy Pelosi said that she will not put this bill up for a vote unless she has the votes to actually get this thing passed. Which right now Nancy Pelosi says, quote, "We'll cross all the bridges when they come," which is kind of funny because it's like the bridges are kind of here right now in this weekend. So Nancy Pelosi is going to be stressing for a little while. We'll be very interested to see what happens with this negotiation. Most importantly, though, over this next week is determining what happens with the debt ceiling and the government funding. Because right now, the infrastructure package, it ain't going to happen. I don't expect the $3.5 trillion infrastructure package to really be a priority at this very moment, with the exception of Biden and his discussion with Democrats. The biggest priority right now is that debt ceiling and extending government funding. And when you hear news headlines that this thing has been passed, it's only been passed in the House. We've got a lot of work left to do. We're nowhere near close. If you want more details on exactly what's going on in the Senate, check out the link down below to see exactly in the video that I posted yesterday how that negotiation is looking. This just gives you a little bit of an update on what just passed and how we really haven't gotten any further. And if you found this helpful, consider subscribing to the video, and folks, or to the channel that is. And folks, we'll see you in the next one. Thanks so much. Bye.